Hello, this is Mike, NoStressMike.com. Oh boy, I just came upon another discovery. And I gotta remember, what I've learned, I get dumber the older I get. And the reason I get dumber is I learn there's so much that I don't know. And I mean, I thought, this is how much knowledge there is, and I know this much, right? Well, now it's getting like that, and I still know that much. And now it's getting like that, and it's getting bigger. There's so much more I keep learning I don't know. And this is a big discovery for me. And here, let me show you. My wife and I were talking about going to Tibet. And I'll get more into that. But here, let me tell you right now, it says right here, Tibet is part of the China starting in 1950. Okay, and this is the part that's really got me, is when she said, well, that's part of China, and it's always been part of China. And I go, no, it hasn't been always part of China. And she goes, yes. And we don't, and see, now we're getting into politics. And this is why I don't like talking politics, is you really don't know nothing. Nobody knows anything about politics. I mean, it's just so screwed up. And this is a good example. In her mind, Tibet's always been right next to China. I guess, I don't know, how long has China been here? How long has Tibet been? Let's see, I was looking on here. Tibet's got a history of, it starts on 200 BC. And it doesn't mention it was part of China, because it's Tibet. And, but anyway, one thing that I've been looking at, I've just kind of glanced over and looked at it. And the thing that's interesting on Tibet, I'm just going to talk about Tibet because that's just a little bit I know, but it applies for, I think, a lot. And this is why I can't relate to any of this stuff. I'm from America. I mean, 1492 is the starting of what we know, so we don't have that much of a history. So, Mexico belongs to Spain, and, you give it another, 2,000-3,000 years and see how many countries, or who owns Spain, who owns the United States, who owns all these countries. It's going to change a lot in a few thousand years, and that's what happened with Tibet. But in her mind, and the way she's been taught, is Tibet has always been part of China. But like I say, when I was looking at this, and I found out, and I know better. Even I don't care what she was taught, I still know better. And because there's a lot of stuff, I don't know a lot of history about a lot of places, but I know a little bit of history in a lot of places. And I know Tibet was controlled by different identities, even China, and like I say, China, what all these people, and except for the old people like me, but no, really, I was born about the same time as China. Republic of China was created in 1949. That's when they were started. So you have to be, I'm 69, so you have to be 100 years old, and you're going to know there was a China before the People's Republic of China. But so this is what I'm saying. Most of those people here, all they know is what they were taught. And it's the same thing in everywhere you go. All they know is what they were taught. And I told you before, history is written by the victor. And I know most people aren't all that concerned about China, but that's my roots. And and I don't try to go back in ancient China, but I know enough that, there was the Boxer Rebellion, one thing I was in the Marines, and the Marines was in the Boxer Rebellion, and, all this kind of stuff. And so, and this was like 1900 when they, and so in other words, China was occupied at that time by a lot of different countries, I think French and Britain, and there was Russia, the United States. I mean, there's a lot of countries that occupied China. So, and that's the way it is. Now, you give the United States, like I say, a few more thousand years, and you're going to see it won't be the United States anymore. It'll be something else, and it'll be occupied by somebody else. But the one thing that they all have in common, and that's the part that just clicked in me, is, the thing was, I was looking at Tibet, and on Tibet they were talking about China went in with 2,000 troops, and they occupied Tibet with 2,000 troops. And now Tibet is theirs. I'm not picking on China. I'm just letting you understand who occupies it. Okay, now who's the occupier? The one with the guns. So, this just makes so much sense to me why they have to take guns from Americans. And why then they can't take the guns from Americans until they get rid of the Constitution. Because the Constitution guarantees us the right to have guns. And the thing is, that's the big thing. And I know, like I say, they occupied Tibet with 2,000. I'm sure, Spain came in and took over, Central America and Mexico, and, how many troops did they leave? And they were able to say it belonged to them. You know what I mean? So it's who has the guns, and those are the ones that rule the land. So what I'm getting down to is, like I say, the guns is what makes America America. And it's the ability of the American people to use those guns and have that American attitude that I talk about all the time, and be able to have the values and the morals to understand your constitutional duties now. And there's a reason why we have to have our guns and know how to use them and be ready to use them. They have to understand, not only the people trying to take over the United States, but the world has to understand that we as Americans, we're not the same as everybody else. We, the people, are the occupiers of the United States of America. It's not even our own. I talked about that. Not even our own troops, our own military, occupies our own country. It's because we, the people, are the occupiers. We need to have our guns. We need to know how to use them, and we need to have the damn balls when it's time. This is Mike, NoStressMike.com.